levels. So for our cilantro, we found the terpenes linalool, camphene, terpenine, geraniol, and limonene. And then in our mugwort, we found, once again, our camphene, our eucalyptol, and our A and B pinene. So in conclusion, our terpene tests were undetectable in cilantro and our mugwort and in our petunia plant, which was expected for our petunia because we started with no terpenes. But with our cilantro and our mugwort, it was actually amazing to see that we didn't find any terpene production within it. Even the most common and abundant, this was a very unexpected outcome. And once again, we know that odor indicates terpenes. And so we still had very, very good odor smell. We had you could smell it all throughout the greenhouse, but for some reason when we sent it in for lab testing, we found nothing. Once again, no significant differences between most nutrients and control group, but we did see a decrease in our potassium within the Petunia hybrida, which was different because we were adding potassium. And then our iron was significantly higher in tissues in a higher dose, which is what you expect to see. Future work will include our yield variances in previous of various rates of silicon, and also the effect of silicon on medicinal plants and subsequent terpene production. So this will be some stuff that we'll be testing further on when we do another series of the experiment. Last but not least, we have our nutrients in plant tissues may show some difference between growing methods. We've kind of seen that, but we haven't really been able to determine that with the two trials that we've done. It will also take additional samples of more mature plants. So we believe that we kind of cut the research too early. We believe that we disposed of and we stopped researching a little bit too early. So we will be looking at keeping them for a lot longer and maybe seeing if we can see a difference in between a more mature plant. Future work will also include finishing nutrient and additional terpene testing. So like I said, we will be doing a different series, maybe lasting a little bit longer, maybe using different control levels to see if maybe that was the reason why we didn't see anything, and so on and so forth. And then testing of additional plant species. So we want to try something new. We want to try something different. We want to use some different herbs. We want to use some different plants because maybe we just use the wrong things. Okay, and then I'd like to acknowledge every single person who's here on this board. I really want to thank everyone who helped me with the research. It was actually really fun. It was good. And that's me. So
first question is water holding capacity. So you're watering, and can you tell me how did you ensure that the nutrients were being kept within the soil versus leaching out during the watering process? Can you talk about that control?
Okay, so we, in watering, we know when we water plants, we have drainage holes. So we did everything that we could to put them in flats to make sure that we can monitor if the water was actually draining out of, and we saw nothing. Like we made sure that we didn't lose any water, that we didn't lose anything, but at the same time, it means that all the nutrients was kept within the pot if we didn't see anything leaching out of it. Does that kind of?
It does. So then how did you determine that you watered enough? Because part of the watering process is you need to have some to ensure saturation. Mm-hmm. So how did you ensure that you weren't having a drought stage throughout the whole study?
Prior to that?
Yes.
So when I said we did like the cup and the half cup, we did have some drainage, and then as we kept going lower and lower, we weren't trying to actually saturate it enough because the whole point was to see if we could make them survive longer through a drought, like a higher drought. So it wasn't really about us like making sure that we kept it moist. We actually wanted it to be dry, so the least amount of water as possible.
Any more questions?
Just following up on the question she asked, the two plants that you used, did you guys test to see what the drought tolerance of those plants are to determine at what watering level basically trigger that drought response?
So are you speaking for the petunias or for
both
the herbs?
Either of them. Just did you guys check to see how well they tolerate drought to be
They
able
tolerate drought
to
before?
determine, yeah.
Like before? Oh yeah. We definitely researched. We did some research on the drought tolerance before, and we came up with the conclusion that petunias, they're kind of finicky. So they could survive in drought places and also in like very, very moist places. So it was kind of like we couldn't really make that determination because they survive in both environments. So we just wanted to see something closer to the drought tolerance.
Thank you.